It's a privilege and honor to present to you our first speaker, future priest Yaakov Hawkins. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. You may be seated. May the peace of Yahweh be with each and every one of you. Now today, I'll be speaking on we need humility and servitude to be in the kingdom of Yahweh, because we can't be just humble and proud. And if you please all turn to Leviticus 6, verse 24. It says, "No one can be the slave of two owners, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be loyal to one and despise the other. You cannot be a servant to both Yahweh and riches." So you can't be two things. You can't be humble or proud or serve Yahweh and riches or Yahweh and Satan. Now, because we need humility to be in the kingdom, because we need to be like Yeshua. He was humble. He was that perfect example of humility and being a servant. Yeshua was the sacrifice for us, as we see in 1 Corinthians. So Yeshua became the lowest slave by washing his disciples' feet. That was the duty of the lowest slave. Remember, if we are not humble, we will not enter the kingdom. If you please turn to Leviticus 6, verse 33. And it says, "But seek you first the kingdom of Yahweh and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you." And as we know, the word seek is in Deuteronomy 12:5, and it means to look for. Look for the house of Yahweh. Then all these things will be added to us. Now, the second point I want to go over is that Yahweh is training us to be humble. Yahweh is training us to be those humble, submissive, obedient, and willing servants. Like, as we know, the two examples, such as Noah and Yeshua. If you please turn to Luke 7. Luke 7, verse 44 through 47. "Then he turned to Noah and said to Simon, 'See this woman? I entered into your house, and you gave me no water for my feet, but she has washed my feet with her tears, and wiped them with the hair of her head. You gave me no kiss, but Noah has not ceased from kissing my feet since the time I came in. You did not anoint my head with oil, but Noah has anointed my feet with ointment. Therefore I say to you, her sins, though they are many, are forgiven, for she loved much. But the one to whom little is forgiven, the same loves little.'" Now, so as we know, Noah was ridiculed and hated, but she continued serving. And she also set her hand to do the work and determined not to be swayed, as Yeshua did also. In Matthew 4, verse 8, "Again the devil took him up into an exceedingly high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and the magnificence of them, and said to him, 'I will give you all these things, if you will fall down and worship me.' Then Yeshua said to her, 'You get away, Satan, for it is written, Yahweh your Father you must reverence, and him only you must serve.' Then the devil left him, and behold, a Malachim came and ministered." So, as we see there, Satan tried to tempt Yeshua into following her own ways. But Yeshua stood strong for the work. And that's what we need to do in these last days. Now, humility is a must. We have to be humble. such as we know, ways to serve is doing our tithes, teachings, doing our offerings, and obeying our authorities. Those are a must in order to enter the kingdom. We have to be humble and stay in Yahweh's house. Now remember, while we are tested, don't give in to sin, and be like Yeshua and Norah. And remember that Yahweh Himself is the greatest servant, the greatest slave. And so remember that we need to be like them. We can't fall into sin. Now, remember that Yeshua was that sacrifice for us. When Yeshua was hung to the stake, after that, he still ministered, still served. And we have to be like that perfect example. And with that, I'll turn it over to Deacon Tuakia for prayer.